All right. So, welcome everybody. Excited to have you here for the Metabolic Mastery. Originally, I called it 102, but 2.0 sounds so much better. So, I renamed it to 2.0. I'm like, I don't know where 102 came in my brain at the moment, but it's all good. So, I'm just going to kind of start off with, awareness, like thinking about anybody who might be watching the recording. Awareness before action. We have to become aware where we're at. So before we can really take action, because we can start making changes, but if we don't even know where we're starting, the changes don't really matter a whole lot because you don't know how they're impacting things. So just kind of creating some simple awareness, regardless of where you're at, is, just taking that inventory of your habits, your energy, your mindset. What are you consuming? And I'm going to start there because that is usually where a lot of people start when we're talking about the metabolic health and your metabolism, really, because that's the core of it, is getting your body functioning and operating at an optimal level at where it's the most efficient. And so how, like, what does that look like? What are you consuming that your body may be protecting? It's going into a protection and it's fighting it versus it going, oh, I know what to do with this. I know exactly what to do with this, and it makes it super efficient. I'm a huge advocate of removing as much artificial colors, flavors, sugars, preservatives, all that sort of thing as humanly possible. And we can do a lot of that. Um, and even as a mom of four, we have virtually no artificial things in our house. And I don't keep any of that in the house. When my second daughter was an infant, she had chronic juvenile migraine. Artificial anything was big triggers for her. And we've just kept that. We've recently gone as far as actually we stopped buying store-bought bread. We do not even buy store-bought bread because those are loaded with chemicals, loaded with all sorts of different things in them that's not good for our bodies. Our bodies literally are going, I don't know what to do with this. I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. And so it's kind of in its protection because it doesn't know what to do with those chemicals and those ingredients. So what I've seen over the last 11 years, the more you can remove artificial ingredients, chemicals, that sort of junk, your body's going to be already thanking you. It's going to be able to operate a lot easier because it knows what to do with clean ingredients. So I want to start off with that because it's something just to become aware of. Like, do you even know where, some of the ingredients and some of the things that you're consuming? Do you know about them? Do you aware how much you are consuming? So many people don't have any clue how much they're consuming in regular store-bought things. And I'm not saying to go hog wild to where I'm at today, because that's been a journey of ours. But you got to be aware where you're at, and then asking yourself, what can I do and what am I willing to do? Because those are two different things. Because you can do a lot of things, but what are you willing to do? Um, and then, and I just want to also preface, like, everybody's coming to this at a different place. People who are watching the recording or people who are on live, Carmen, Rachel, everybody's in a different place. Everybody's journey and where they're starting looks different. So I may be speaking over your head with some things. I may be bringing in stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, that's just overwhelming. I can't even think about that. Don't worry. Let's not go into anxiety. Let's not go into overwhelm. Slow down. And if you need to kind of go like, I need baby steps, maybe that's time. Maybe that's a clue to, like, let's have a one-on-one call, a one-on-one conversation to really look at your situation and where you're at of what is going to be best for you to help you kind of figure out those pieces so you're not overwhelmed with all these things that I'm going to be talking about today. Because we're kind of taking it from kind of an intro that I've done, a couple of different intros that I've done to, like, let's look at action items. Let's look at what are we consuming. Let's look at what's our hydration. That's another piece, the next piece I'm going to talk about. Like, how much are we hydrating? Are we adding a whole bunch of junk to our water to get water in, right? Kind of on that same topic I just mentioned, because there's a whole bunch of water additives that you can add to your water for it to taste good or be able to drink more of it. But is it clean? And clean meaning no artificial. Not, and again, I'm a huge advocate of removing artificial as much as humanly possible. And there are lots of different things out there, and I can give some recommendations. My kids actually use a product called Ultima. Ultima, and it is no artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners. It is an electrolyte drink. So it's just a powder we add to their water. And three out of the four kids use it. My oldest actually prefers just plain water. Hallelujah. But I'd rather, if that's going to help them drink a little bit more water, I will give them that. One, it's all natural. There's no artificial junk in it. It's an electrolyte. Electrolytes are good for our bodies. And it's not like a high sodium electrolyte. It's more of a magnesium electrolyte versus a high sodium. So I like that as well. Anyways, that's a kind of a side note there. But knowing where you're at with your hydration is really good. Our body, every cell in our body uses water. And if you're not giving it enough, you may not feel dehydrated, but your body is really dehydrated and it can only do so much with the water it's been giving. It'll try to recycle what it already has in it, but it can only do so much. And we wonder why when we start actually increasing our water, we start having to use the bathroom like all the time. Anybody else realize that? Like so annoying, right? This is so annoying, right, Carmen? And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is just too inconvenient. Well, is temporary. I'm going to say that. It does take your body 2 to 4 weeks to fully adjust with the increase of water. So I say increase it and stay there because the longer you stay there, the quicker it's going to be for your body to adjust. Because what's happening is your body has hold on to and try to recycle the water that's in it as much as possible. So once it gets extra, what's it doing? It's flushing as much of the old as it can to replace it with a new. And it feels like you're just going right through you, but your body literally is using it so much. And so, on that note, um, be aware where you're at with your water. I know, politically speaking, they say 64 ounces of water, right? I don't always agree with that. I go against the grain. I look at the science. I really look at the science. What does science say? Does I have a good friend that's 7 foot tall, and at a healthy weight that he is now 265 pounds. Does a 7 foot, 265 pound man, 64 ounces of water enough for him as the same as maybe my older sister who's 5'2" and 120 pounds? Is 64 ounces going to be the same amount of hydration good enough for both of them? Science says no, but our society and our medical field says, yeah, 64 ounces is great for an adult. That they don't talk about size, they don't talk about the differences, but it's not. The science says that really your body requires about half your body weight in ounces. So simple math, 200-pound person, 100 ounces of water. Now, I don't want that to be overwhelming for some people who that might be overwhelming for, but like my sister, 125 pounds, now half of that is closer to, I'm trying to do math really fast in my head and it's not happening, like 68 ounces or something like that, right? So closer to that 64 ounces is probably great for her, right? I do know that she does drink more than that because she does not feel hydrated at 64 ounces. She actually prefers closer to 100 ounces. That's where she feels the best. And she can tell her energy drains. She's just more, she doesn't have the energy. She's more sleepy. The stamina is not there with when she doesn't have the hydration. It makes a big difference. Anyways, that's a whole lot on hydration. But the other thing on hydration that I do want to mention, most people don't realize this, is that your body will actually give you hunger signals for hydration. So and most Americans, especially because most Americans are not getting even 64 ounces of water in. It's actually rare for me to talk to somebody who is getting more than 40 ounces of water a day. But we confuse, the hunger for hydration signals with hunger for food. With that is confused a lot. So the only way to know if it's not for hunger, or if the hunger signal is not for hydration, is to get the water in. If you're getting the water in and you're actually hungry, it's actually hunger. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to pause there for just a minute because that was a lot already. I'm just like brain dumping things to everybody here, and hopefully it's valuable. Any thoughts, questions, comments at this point?
I think it's really important to recognize where we are, the
Mhm.
starting point. Um, I know Carmen doesn't know me, but I have chronic pain and a whole bunch of things. And to just recognize, okay, and each day might be different, like especially when you're dealing with things like that. Or even if just somebody has the flu, just say you have the flu, like that day, recognize where you're at. And that might look different than the other days. And that's okay. Like, not to judge ourselves and just be really honest about where we're at. I think that's super important.
Absolutely. Very important. Thank you, Rachel. Carmen?
Yeah, I think being self-aware too, like I'm noticing now talking about hydration, how I drink a lot more at the office than I do when I work from home.
Yes.
So I think for me right now is thinking of building a habit at home just like I have at the office. So
Yeah. I love your awareness on that because that's very normal. Very normal. And I will tend to drink a lot when I'm in the car. So if I'm driving, I will drink a lot more. But yeah, if I'm in my office and doing something, like if especially I'm doing something on my computer and creating this or doing whatever, a lot of different volunteer stuff I do or whatever, I may not drink anything for an hour or two. And that is unusual for me now. But I came 11 years ago. I didn't even drink 20 ounces of water a day. Like 20 ounces was like, I felt like I was drowning. But now, and I don't know if this would help you, Carmen, but I know this has helped several of my clients. I have, I can't really say this is my one of my three water bottles. These are 40-ounce water bottles. I have three of them. I fill them up every morning, completely full, first thing in the morning. And then I kind of have, like, I want to make sure one is done before noon. The second one is done before I go to pick up the kids. And the third is done before dinner. Because that also helps me to not make sure that, and for most people, so you're not up all night using the bathroom too, right? Because you want to have about 3 hours without hydration to help minimize that. So for me, just having that, I'm removing the resistance of having to go refill. I'm removing that, the time, the inconvenience of all I have to do is grab another one, grab the next one. And I know that when they're all empty, I've gotten them all in. And for me, and some people will use rubber bands. They'll put rubber bands on their water bottle. Maybe they need to fill this up 2 or 3 times and they'll put rubber bands and they'll either move it down or up when they refill it, or they'll move it to their wrist when they've refilled it. So they know that when all of them are moved or all of them are off of it, that they've had their amount of water. So lots of little things to kind of think about that. So it is like at home, how can you make sure you keep your water bottle with you, right? And that's something like anytime I know I'm going to be on my computer in my office, like today, this one's almost gone. So I have a second one right here ready to go for when this is gone. Because if this is gone and I don't have another one, I get parched. So, yeah. And when kids are not in school and I'm not driving as much, I have to be a little more intentional because I drink a lot when I drive versus being at home. So I have to be a little more intentional and really like, okay, I need to make sure this is gone. This is gone. So, and I am right on track today because this is my second one. I've already finished one. So this needs to be gone by 3. So it's almost gone. I'm on track. So awesome. Um, okay. And I try to make these about 30 minutes. I know Rachel's got to leave here shortly. Thank you for being here, Rachel, even though you have to leave shortly. What I want to talk about next is a little bit more of um, food. Your food matters. When we're talking about this, I mean, there's so many different ingredients when it comes to the full body, as far as full metabolic health and longevity. Of course, healthy eating and hydration, motion. making sure your weight is where, and a healthy weight management, sleep, energy, healthy mind and surroundings are some that don't get talked about a lot, but those are really, really important. And we'll probably do another segment on those. I don't want to dive into those today because today I want to talk a little bit more about food and how fuel in our bodies really helps our body to feel safe. That's like, I feel like that's the starting piece because once your body starts to feel safe and your body can feel better from the inside out, then it's going to be easier to start addressing some of the other things that are maybe on the outside of us. Does that make sense? So, we've already kind of talked about artificial ingredients because that was something that was really just, it was, I was felt so compelled to make sure I talked about that today for whatever reason. Um, but a balance of nutrition, protein specifically, and again, everybody's in a little bit different place, so it's going to look a little bit different for each person. Because I know Carmen, you're not in a place to lose weight, but I know that we've talked and you want to gain muscle and you want to be stronger. So protein for you would look different than somebody who's looking to lose weight and to get their body into that healthy weight management piece while protecting their muscle. It's going to look a little different. But protein's crucial regardless of where you're at, is making sure you get enough and knowing how much to get. And how much to get, again, is variable based upon the person. But then also where do you get the protein from makes a difference as well, right? Lean proteins, healthy, clean proteins as much as possible. And most people are under eating protein significantly. They were actually tracking it and they understood how much protein they were getting, and then they knew how much lean muscle mass they had. They're probably way under with their protein. Um, so your protein supports your lean muscle and it stabilizes your blood sugar. And really aiming to have protein with every time that you eat will help you to get more protein in throughout the day, every meal, every snack. And again, it's going to help. Protein also helps to curb your appetite because it takes longer and it takes more energy to burn it. So it's going to take longer. So slower, more steady burn, basically, for energy. It's going to give you that longer energy because it takes longer. It takes more energy to metabolize protein. And so that's why another protein is so good because the thermal energy effect of protein is so much higher than carbs or fat or anything like that. Um, So we were doing some math for my husband. I just felt compelled to mention this. So my husband is at a place where he likes his weight, but he'd love to gain muscle but lose a little bit of fat. So our focus isn't weight loss, but our focus is to support his muscle because he's very physically active with his job and he's constantly moving and he's already very muscular. But we realized when we were doing the math, but for him, again, he's a big boy. He's about 200 pounds at a healthy weight for him. Um, but he needs about 200 grams of protein to support muscle growth while replacing the weight with, we're swapping muscle weight for fat weight. Am I saying that? Am I making English here? Right. So if he wants to, gain 10 pounds of muscle, but then lose 10 pounds of fat, but he wants to keep the same weight. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to say. So, 200 grams of protein is a lot of protein. It's a lot of protein. I don't know if you've ever done the math on that. It's a lot of protein. So we're trying to figure out different ways that he can get more protein in. And our essential amino acids is another way. We have whey proteins. It's another way that he can get extra protein in fairly easily without it feeling like he's eating tons of chicken and steak and all that. That feels kind of heavy, right? Um, for whatever reason, I felt compelled to say that. So there you go. Um, Protein, hard-boiled eggs, like those are some staples that we keep in our home. Hard-boiled eggs. I do some meal prep mainly for my kids more than anything for egg muffins. I make egg muffins almost every weekend to make sure they use them for their lunches, they use them for breakfast, they use them for a snack. And there's just eggs, vegetables, maybe a handful of shredded cheese in there. And I do use turkey bacon instead of real bacon just for some, and then of course herbs and spices in there as well. and they love them. And I had a teacher message me, what is the recipe for those muffins? Because they smell so good. So that's been fun.
Those are the ones you brought to Latina Connect, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, I make them almost every week, and I usually do 2.5 to 3 dozen eggs because I mean I got 4 kids, right?
Mhm.
And they're using them for breakfast and lunch, and then I do a lot of like breakfast. We're eliminating cereals from our house because cereals are
Mhm.
just it's junk. There's
Yeah.
nothing nutritional value in it. It's just empty carbs and it doesn't truly have any nutritional value. So I'm also doing pre-making like healthy protein heavy pancakes or waffles for
Mhm.
them to where they can just toast and have breakfast and they enjoy that, right? They look forward to that and it's healthy. It's not carb heavy. They're truly balanced with nutrition, which I love for them. So on that note, thing I kind of wanted to bring up, unless you have any questions about kind of protein, I know you and I probably should have a little bit more of a one-on-one call talk too
Mhm.
and talk more about that for you because you're in a different place than some people are.
Yeah, I think a one-to-one would be perfect. One of the things that I love about winter, praise the Lord, I don't get no bipolar from the change of seasons.
Yeah.
But I'm using my crock pot a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm just like dumping, like today I threw in chicken noodle soup with tons of veggies and lots of spices.
Mhm.
So you can't go wrong. So I've been doing a lot of that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I use my pressure cooker for meat all
mm,
year long.
mm,
And crock pot, and I even use my pressure cooker for as a crock pot, but I make it go faster.
oh, yeah.
'Cause I'm not one of those. I'm not one. I do a lot of meal prepping on the weekend, but I'm not one of those during the week to where in the morning I think about throwing stuff in the crock pot and let it sit all day. It's
Yeah.
usually once I get home with the kids at like 4 o'clock, I'm like, huh, what do we want for dinner? And then I'm like, oh, well, all my meat's frozen. Let's throw some frozen chicken in the pressure cooker and it's done in 45 minutes.
Yeah, I need to get one of those. And I know the pressure cookers are not the same as they used to be. I used to work with this nurse in a nursing home years ago, and she had burns all over her because it exploded. And I got this like crazy fear of them that I need to get over because I know it can happen if you put in like, the wrong stuff that will make it do that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the pressure cookers of today, like the ones that I use, they're electronic. They have like a double safety latch on it to where literally you cannot open the lid if there's pressure in it.
Mm,
The pressure has to be gone, and otherwise it will not let you open the lid. So a pressure cooker that kind of blew up is one that you took the lid off of it when there was still pressure, right?
yeah.
And like the new ones, there's like literally double safety latches. Like you can't force that thing open if there's pressure. So I love my pressure cooker because again, I'm not one of those that thinks about dinner at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't. I would love to say I do, but I don't. But I do think about breakfasts and lunches on Saturday and Sunday to prep those
Yeah.
for the kids mainly, but on that, oh my goodness, it's almost the time already.
Mhm.
Um, Having easy grab and go, food prepping ahead, some people are great at it. I'm not great for dinner. I'm great on the weekends for the kids. I'm not great for myself. I don't like to have to think about food all day long. I really don't. I
Yeah.
mean, I just is not something that I want to do. I have to think about it enough for the kids, for, lunches, for breakfast. I don't want to think about it for myself.
Yeah.
So having easy grab and go, clean nutrition that you don't have to think about is a game changer. Like we have, as you know, Carmen, we have amazing tools that are clean nutrition, balanced nutrition. I
Yeah.
don't have to think about. And that's why I love them. And they're scientifically designed to promote metabolic health. That's what I love too. They're all scientifically, also all about science, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
promote that.
Well, honestly, like I'm waiting for my commissions to like rise because this might sound selfish, but I know they work and it's like my lazy way to get healthier. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Well, and I want to help you like I don't see it as lazy. It is convenient.
there you go.
It is the convenient because
Yeah.
you're a single mama of busy kids with a business, with all these things that you're juggling to have to think about food
Yeah.
all day. If that was your only way to get healthy, to stay healthy, I guarantee you 98, 99% of all Americans would fall on their face every day. I would
Yeah.
guarantee it. There's no way that I would just not eat is really what it would come down to. And that's just as bad
Yeah.
as eating the wrong things because your body just again goes into prep. It just goes, let me hold on to everything. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. So it's just a convenient, healthy way. We live in a world of, let's be real, chaos, busy, juggling so many different things and having so many different responsibilities and having to think about, as moms, other people ahead of ourselves all the time,
Yeah.
right? So if we don't have a convenient, healthy option, we probably won't take care of ourselves.
It's true.
I mean, I know as a mom,
Yeah.
I think about myself last a lot. Um, but so um on that note, just as we wrap up, I just want to touch base just tiny bit on, carbohydrates, right? Carbs are not bad. They get a bad rap. What we want to do is be very, again, aware of what kind of carbs are we consuming more often than not. There's simple carbs and there's complex carbs. I don't want to go into the weeds on this a whole lot, but really simple carbs are going to burn fast and hot and be gone, like fast, right? That's going to spike your blood sugar and make it crash. And that's what, um, you know, blood sugar, irregulation and like other things that can happen when your metabolic health is not right and you're going towards metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, all those different things are part of having a lot of simple carbs, right? Simple carbs just feed that. So what are simple carbs? Most people know, okay, sugar, right? Yes, sugar. And I look at it like, think about all the white things. White flour, white sugar, white rice, white potatoes.
Mhm.
So anything with those are going to be more simple carbs. A lot of fruit is simple carbs as well. So not that fruit's bad, I'm not going to say that, but just being careful and being mindful that, our programming of fruit is healthy, eat all the fruit you want, doesn't truly help us because that again is a simple carb. So fruit is great. It's got the protein, it's got vitamins and minerals, but too much is just too much. And so just being aware of fruit is good, but how much fruit does your body need? So that's kind of, and again, everybody's a little bit different. Complex carbs, okay? Complex carbs, quinoa, brown rice, sweet potatoes are simple carbs, different things. Those are just a few off the top of my head, right? Of course, vegetables. Vegetables are carbohydrates, but they are the complex carbs, especially the non-starchy ones. They're more complex carbs and they're going to give you the fiber. They're going to give you so many vitamins, so many minerals. So that'd be a question too, as you're going through all your own awareness of how much vegetables are you eating?
Mhm.
And most people, especially Americans, very little, if any. But I know you're making some changes, so that's not the case with you. But somebody who might be watching this recording, how many servings of vegetables? Do you even have any idea? Do you just try to have maybe a serving of vegetables with dinner? That's kind of how I grew up. Like we always had a serving of vegetables with dinner, but that was like the only vegetables that I saw all day, every
Mhm.
day. So, and it was like a spoonful, right? It wasn't much. And there's all these carbs with it.
Yeah, I do pretty good with veggies. So
Good for
yeah,
you.
I like most of the veggies. The only ones that I just cannot, and I've tried, and I'll give it another try, are sweet potatoes.
Yeah. And there's no wrong with that. There's no wrong with that. Don't make that wrong. If you don't like it, you don't like it, you know, and find what you do like. And that's
Mhm.
how I look at it. It's like there's lots of options. Find what you do like and
Mhm.
go to those. Don't focus on what you don't like. Let's focus on what you
Yeah,
do. And over time, your taste buds will change. And you might be like, okay, let me try them again.
yeah.
Nope, still not my thing. Good to know. I cannot, and I say cannot do cooked peas. Cannot do it. I have tried over and over and over again. The smell makes me gag. The taste, I will vomit. And so, but it is okay. Like, I just don't, my kids don't ever get cooked peas. My husband loves them, and I'm sorry, but he's not getting cooked peas because I cannot stand the smell. That's okay though.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so awesome, awesome, awesome. I had a few other things that I was going to chat about, but of course, I chat a lot, and our time has flown by again. But I hope this was helpful. Just the awareness. It's like being, and I know that you've made so many changes in your life and your health journey, Carmen, with where everything you've gone through. Um, and super proud of you on that. And if you're not tracking, at least writing down pen to paper or voice text to notepad on your phone what you're consuming, you don't have a true awareness. You have to actually have something written down or something dialogued. I love voice to text. I use it all the time. That's why I mentioned that. It saves so much time. If you're not tracking and not actually writing down what you are consuming, even the little bite here, the little bite there, we don't truly have a full awareness of what we're consuming, of really where we're at. So I'm going to encourage that. And ultimately actually tracking using an app to know what nutrition you're getting, that would be ideal. A lot of people aren't there yet. A lot of people need to start with just write it down,
Mhm.
right?
What app do you recommend?
With when we're tracking nutrition and protein and carbs and all that sort of thing, I do really like my Fitness Pal.
Mm,
That's one I've used many times over the years. And I will still gravitate towards. I have it on my phone. I don't use it all the time now, but certain times when I'm really want to just kind of double check where I'm at, how I'm doing, am I getting enough? I'll use my Fitness Pal.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I need to do, and commit to it. I've started, but I don't stick to it. So, yeah.
It is figuring out how can you? And maybe it's instead of feeling like you have to enter it in right then, maybe your voice and texting it to yourself, and then you have a time once or twice a day to where you enter it into the app. Because I just figure out like what is the block? Where is the thing
Yeah.
that's holding you back? Like what can you do to make that less resistance to move through that? Um, and again, it's not that you have to track all the time every day, but when you're dialing in for certain goals, like I'm leveling up my own health right now, and I'm in the next month, I will be fully tracking and really focusing on protein because I'm focusing on physical activity, I'm focusing on strength, I'm focusing on a lot of different things for myself. And so I will be definitely being very, very diligent about tracking myself here and within about the next month as I'm right now, I'm in the prep for that, and then I'm going to be diving into that.
Nice.
So yeah. So awesome. Any other questions before we wrap up?
No, just maybe like a comment. The 28 challenge that I was participating in, I think that set me up, even though I wasn't posting all the time, I was actually doing it. And that was so great because it opened the door for me to start, right? And so next year, if I do it again, I definitely know what to expect. But I really want to thank you for that because now I even got my sisters involved in a challenge. So I've been working out, well, not really working out. I'm walking for 10 minutes in the morning as soon as I get up and getting my over 3,000 steps every day. And my goal is to close all my hearts.
Nice.
So, and my biggest challenge right now is hitting the 200 calorie goal. For some reason, that's really hard. So, I figured out that if I do 15 minutes of walking in the morning and do another 15 minutes at night, I will reach that.
Okay.
So, yeah, so my goal is to get a week straight,
Okay.
right? And I know that's going to motivate me, like, yay, and then slowly build up to maybe walk with weights, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just is thinking about what can you do, right? I love that you're starting out little and then bringing it up and figuring like, okay, this is my next goal. This is my next goal because we have to have those millimeters that are doable that we can see the wins for. And I'm so proud of you with the 28-day challenge because that's the whole goal is just to help people be a part of something bigger and something more to where they're like a part of something that's not just them. Because let's be real, if it's just me. I'm less likely to actually follow through. But when it's a group and I'm
Yeah,
part of the group,
accountability.
the accountability,
Yeah,
it stacks
yeah,
that and it makes it so much easier to stick to it when otherwise I probably would have said, not today. So, yeah, and the next 28-day challenge will start in January.
okay,
January 1st. So that will be coming. So just in time for the new year and all that. So we always do it January, May, and September. Those are the three times we do it every year. So yeah. So I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I'm going to turn off the recording and then you and I can maybe set up a time to do a one-on-one, okay? So,
absolutely.
all right. Thank you for watching the recording, whoever is watching, and we'll see you next time.